Right.
Hello. How are you doing
Hi,
today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm really good. So,
Wonderful.
do you want to talk about what's been going on for the past couple weeks?
Um, yeah, the past couple weeks have been good. The kids are done with school, so we've been doing some stuff. Um, it's been good. However, today, so I noticed with myself, with school and I guess with both the kids just being home on a regular basis at this point, I get and it goes in waves, right? So like this. So and it matches up to that time of the month, right?
Mm-hmm.
To where my frustration levels go from I got this, I can handle it, and can take a step back and cool off to school's like weighing heavy on me. The kids are irritating the crap out of me, and I blow up within like 15 minutes of being awake because Harrison, my youngest kid, is like he's going to be 2 next month, and his words haven't developed as quick as my older sons did, so he's still, I think he's getting really frustrated about not being able to communicate.
Yeah.
But in the morning when I wake up, and I try to get up before them, but the past few days have just been exhausted. So I get up like 10 minutes before them and have no time to myself to wake up because they're up, and then Harrison's screaming at me or throwing a toy at me because I'm not doing something he wants me to do, or I'm not getting him something, and I'm like, go back to bed. Like, I just kind of blow up at him. I'm getting very frustrated at myself for being so easily frustrated with the kids. And I'm just irritated by that. I'm irritated at myself for being easily frustrated.
So it sounds like you're dealing with a lot of uh, irritation, difficulty maybe managing your frustration. It sounds
Yes.
like there's some a little bit of like maybe emotional dysregulation in terms of your hype. It seems like you're reacting very strongly when things don't go your way. um, yeah. And it also seems like you have a lot going on in your life and a lot of triggers that might trigger that frustration. So um, it seems like it's coming from both ends. There is your 2-year-old throwing stuff at you, and at the same time there's you perhaps not having the healthiest response to that, so, which
Yeah.
which it's important not to blame yourself for, and to accept yourself and accept what happens. But there are ways we can work on. Obviously we can't change how what's going to happen day to day in terms of dealing with your children, dealing with the stress of being in school. What we can work on are ways to effectively um, have healthy emotional reactions. And uh, when I say healthy, I just mean emotional reactions that are beneficial to you, like things
Right.
that are going to improve your life. Because
Okay.
it seems like you're not dealing with anything really. It's not like you're lashing out at your children. It seems like.
No, I'm not dealing with it in a way that I feel is effective, and I'm showing them I'm showing them how to freak out. And I don't really want them to.
So you feel like you're showing them by example.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm definitely not setting an example I want them to follow. And
So
then, so this is, 8 a.m. and this is already all going on, and I haven't even had a cup of coffee or eaten anything, which I think is part of the problem, but which I can work on. I can eat food. Um, but
so
yeah,
yeah, it seems like if you were able to get to have more control over your emotions in these situations, there's a possibility of you feeling better as a person, reacting better, and getting more of what you want out of life.
Definitely. Definitely after my morning.
Yeah.
Or the
So,
afternoon and the evening.
yeah, emotional regulation is a big part of DBT. The four main branches, I would say, of DBT are mindfulness, interpersonal effectiveness, which might come in handy when dealing with your children, although it's kind of geared towards more adults talking, interpersonal effectiveness between adults, but it could possibly help with your children. There's also emotional regulation and distress tolerance. And it seems like early in the morning, when you're dealing with all of this stress and all this frustration, it seems like some of these tools might be able to help you cope and come to a place where you feel better about your life and like what we say in DBT, reaching towards a life worth living, so that you don't feel in constant frustration or irritability.
Those would be nice.
If you're at all willing, I'd like to share with you and just an exercise in the beginning of this session, and that can help you if you ever get a minute to yourself. And that would be finding wise mind. And wise mind in DBT. In DBT, we work with dialectics. We work with two opposite things that we don't think are connected, and then realizing that everything is in fact connected, and that you can have bad things happen to you. You can also overreact to those things, but you can also have bad things happen to you and learn how to deal with them in a healthy way. And it doesn't negate the bad things that happen. You have to accept the bad things, and that's kind of the theory behind it. So wise mind is reaching a place in between what Linehan would call reasonable mind and emotion mind. Emotion mind is those places where you feel the irritability, you feel the frustration, you feel you feel overwhelmed in any way. And in your situation, it seems like the stress of getting your kids ready in the morning is a time possibly when you're feeling a bit overwhelmed emotionally. It's usually people either have an issue with too much rational mind or too much emotion mind. But the most common thing would probably be leaning towards emotion mind. And then finding wise mind is, according to Linehan, is finding a place of wisdom and seeing the value of both rationality and emotion. So you're not completely negating emotion and you're not completely negating rationality. And also, you could call it the middle path, like I don't know if you know anything about Buddhism, but the middle path between, in Buddhism, it would be the middle path between materialism and asceticism or something of the sort. But within DBT, the middle path would be in between hyper rational and overly emotional, while acknowledging both of those states. And there's a lot of ways of reaching wise mind, but the more you practice them, the easier it is for you to settle into that place.
Right.
So one DBT intervention that could work for you possibly would be in those 5 minutes before your kids wake up to do a breathing exercise. So if you want to do that with me right now, close your eyes and begin. Just start by just noticing your breath, feeling the inhale, feeling the exhale, feeling it in your nose, feeling the air. And from there, noticing those pauses in between the breaths. So when you inhale, notice that pause before you exhale. And that pause after you exhale, before you inhale. And just continue on like this. And noticing what sensations arise physically in your body. So noticing any tension, any bodily sensations, but keep it focused on the body and the physical sensations at this point. And a good way to do this exercise would be probably about 5 minutes every day until you gain
Okay.
some a little bit of practice with it. There's also several other ways that Linehan puts forward as ways of reaching wise mind. Another way you could call it is mindfulness exercises. So awareness of the present moment without judgment. So I could actually send you some worksheets. She has one that's just basically a mindfulness handout, and it shows you some activities you can do as soon as you wake up, or while you're in the middle of a difficult situation, that can help with bringing your emotional your emotion mind and your rational mind to a place of union.
Yeah.
So there's like one where you pretend you're a stone flake on a lake and see yourself. There's some visualization techniques. There's some a few visualization techniques, walking downstairs. There's a few other breathing techniques, some that involve words, like saying mantra, using mantra.
Okay.
And yeah. So
Okay.
how do you feel about implementing those ideas, or at least one of them? Do you feel like that's something you could do, that you feel like that's something you have time for?
It feels, I was excited to hear about them. They sound, yes, I am excited about them. And yes, it is something I will make time for because something needs to change. So that my day is set up better. And these days they come and they go. They don't stick around for always, but to be more mindful and to be able to have something I can do on the bad days where I don't get up and go work out before the kids are awake because of whatever reason. Because as long as I can get up and get out before the kids are up, it usually helps out. But the last few days I've just been really tired and haven't. So it kind of it doesn't sit right in my head. So
it's also, yeah, I'm noticing you putting judgment on yourself for not being. I'm noticing a little bit of judgment coming from you not working out as much, or you not waking up early enough, and I'd like to see that. I'd like to work on that kind of judgment that you're putting on yourself.
okay.
If and figure out how to reach a place of radical acceptance. In DBT, we call it radical acceptance, which is noticing the situations that you're in that you can't change, but also noticing behaviors that are not, like, possibly not your optimal behavior, but realizing that you are trying your best. So it's just the idea of radical acceptance is just the idea that you are trying your best,
Okay.
At the same time, there are things you can do to improve your situation. So you're not drawing a hard and fast line of, well, I'm doing my best. There's also a recognition of there are things I can do to improve my situation.
Okay.
So in terms of ways to practice non-judgment, there's another handout that I could send you that just talks about, it's another mindfulness handout, because I like to start with mindfulness. I feel like it's a really good way to get people into DBT before working. I mean, they're all great. The distress tolerance, the emotion regulation, the interpersonal effectiveness are all important, but it all comes, I feel like the mindfulness is a central core element of the DBT. So there's a worksheet that kind of addresses the radical acceptance. So it's basically being able to see events but not evaluate them as good or bad. Accept each moment as if you are spreading a blanket across the lawn and you expect both rain and sun, and you're not judging whether it's raining or shining sun. I don't know.
Okay.
If
I'm gonna have to work on that one.
And then acknowledging in your mind the difference between the helpful and the harmful, what helps, what is safe, and what is dangerous, but without judging them. And if you're wondering what I'm looking at right now, it is Marsha Linehan's DBT skills training, handouts, and worksheets.
Oh, wow.
If you are going to be working with DBT for any amount of time, this is the book to get. It's kind of the official DBT book, and all of the handouts are really helpful. And what makes them even more helpful is if you're able to attend a weekly group that meets for 2.5 hours. But it's understandable if you don't have that time. So yeah, another skill about radical acceptance would be to be completely in the moment, and to not and that goes along with the non-judgment, but to be completely in the moment, noticing what's happening, acknowledging what's happening, acknowledging what emotions come up, because emotions are going to come up, and there's nothing wrong with emotions coming up. You're human, and these emotions are healthy reactions to things that are happening. Even anxiety originated as a healthy reaction because we had to run away from the saber-toothed tiger. You know, right? So there's a reason as humans we have anxiety. It's a coping mechanism that helps. However, it becomes a problem when it's impeding upon our quality of life and our ability to work towards a life worth living.
Yes.
So how is all of that sitting with you? I know I just said a lot.
It's a lot. I like starting with being mindful. I think that would be a good place to start. I'm just trying to think of my mornings, and definitely being mindful and less judgy on myself, especially at that early in the morning. Yep. Okay. Sorry. I hear my son crying. So yeah, just definitely being more mindful, and trying to just go with the flow more, or allowing the emotions to be there and accept those.
So right now, hearing your son crying, what emotions are coming up for you?
Where the hell's my husband? Why isn't he up there? Do I need to make a run for it? Why is he crying? Did he throw up? Nervousness.
Yeah, so there's nervousness, there's anxiety, and there's also, I noticed, a little bit of judgment towards your husband, possibly.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm kind of judgy about it. It's a spot I need to work on a lot with him for myself, but toward him.
And I've noticed in the last session also you mentioned a few things that you'd like to work on with your husband. And I'm going to mention one more part of the book, and then I'm going to let you talk. But there's a technique called Dear Man, and Dear Man is just an acronym, and it's about interpersonal effectiveness and getting what you want from someone. And it's about when you have an issue with someone's behavior or you would like someone to do something differently. It's just a way of, I don't know if you can see it, of talking, of figuring out almost a script to say to people that can help them come to, like, that can help both of you come to an agreement. It stands for describe, express, assert, reinforce, and then staying mindful, appearing confident, and negotiating. And there's descriptions of all of these, but I can send you the worksheet for that one, because it's actually very helpful in when you need something from someone and you don't know how to say it in a way that they're gonna understand how you're feeling. There's it involves describing how you're feeling, expressing your emotions, like asserting what you feel like you need, and reinforcing that, and at the same time staying mindful, which it means aware of the present moment.
I definitely would like that worksheet, please.
Yeah. I'll send it to you. It's called Dear Man, and it can be a really helpful tool for interpersonal effectiveness.
Yes.
So tell me a little bit more about how you're feeling right now, in terms of your children and your husband.
Like hearing about the worksheets or just some of the ways to possibly be coping with the judgment I have around myself and my husband, or my husband's behaviors. That makes me hopeful, and that makes me feel excited. And the mindfulness, I definitely need some more mindfulness in my life, I think.
That's a judgment, though. So, I mean, I think that.
Dang. You guess your yeah.
So I think just rephrasing it. I'm acknowledging that you feel as though mindfulness would be effective for you right now, but there is the possibility of rephrasing it so it's not I should or I must, or because then there's this idea that you're a bad person if you don't get to it. And I think it's just I acknowledge that I am where I am in my life. I'm trying my best, and I would like to incorporate more mindfulness. That's kind of part of the radical acceptance piece, is accepting where you are right now and not using words like must or ought, but rather seeing where you are and feeling okay about where you are, and just noticing that while you are trying your best, you can also do other things to help. It's all about you and you finding your quality of life. It's all about you finding a life worth living. How does that sit with you?
That's good. I didn't think about I need more mindfulness as being a judgment until you said that, and I'm like, oh, you're right, it is.
But then you're judging yourself for judging.
Not being mindful. Yeah, I was like, wow. There's a lot of judgment going on right there. Um,
I think
what's up with that?
I think that's where the radical acceptance can really help. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
So yeah, I would like to start on some of those worksheets now. Um, but no, it's really good. That's actually very good, and I hope it will help. I hope it'll help. I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited about it.
Great. Um I love seeing the optimism here, and I really feel as though these techniques can help you because you seem to be at a place where you're ready to go get down and dirty and do the work. Yeah.
I am. I
Yeah.
am ready to let go of things that are holding me back, judgments. Um, I'm not at a bad place in life. I think maybe I still view that I, yeah. Yeah, I don't want to say that I'm in a bad place by any means, or that I was in a bad place, but that I can be more even as opposed to wave-like.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. That makes sense to me. So yeah, I would like to take out some of the bigger waves and make it more calm.
That's that's a great way of describing it. I really
Yeah, it feels good.
So I'll email you some of these worksheets. They're all on Marsha Linehan's website. And I can email them to you, and if you have time, you can work on them before next week or 2 weeks from
Yeah.
now. And I really appreciate your commitment to doing the work and your your positive outlook. It seemed like noticing that there are things that you can do to,
Yes.
yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, no, that I'm excited about it. I'm excited to try something different.
Great. Well, I'll
Yeah.
see you again. Is there anything else you'd like to share before we end our session?
No,
Okay.
no. I'm just now you've got me thinking about those worksheets, so I'm really excited to check those out. Actually,
Okay. So
yeah.
I'll see you in 2 weeks.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Bye.